is Joshua Milligan, Principal Consultant at Resultant. Thank you for joining us today as we look at Tableau. Today we're going to consider how to build a control chart visually in Tableau. A control chart is useful when you have a process or a measure that you want to make sure stays within certain limits. The data set we're going to consider is very simple. It is simply a couple of metrics by week. So we have the number of times something was attempted, the number of times it failed, and then a calculated failure rate, which is simply the number of failures divided by the number of attempts. Now, Tableau is a visual tool, so we're going to look at this data visually. I'm going to start a new sheet, and I'm going to bring our failure rate out to rows. You can see our overall failure rate is just 0.77%. I want to look at this week over week, so I'm going to take my week field, which is a date, and I'm going to right-click and drag and drop that onto columns. By dragging with the right mouse button, it will bring up some options in terms of how I want to use the date. In this case, I'm going to select continuous, which will draw it along an axis. And I can see my failure rate plotted over time. I'm going to turn on labels. Ultimately, I may choose to turn those off or simply to show some of them selectively to cut down on clutter. But for now, it's useful to be able to see the values. One thing I'll notice is that this value fluctuates week to week, and there's no real discernible trend. However, I do want to make sure that the failure rate is within certain limits. So I'm going to switch to the Analytics pane over here on the left, and I'm going to bring in a distribution band. I'll drag and drop that. I'm going to apply it to the entire table, everything that we see visually. Tableau will bring up a dialog box with multiple options, and you'll need to decide for your control chart what the upper and lower limits should be, but oftentimes we'll think of that in terms of standard deviation. In fact, most control charts will choose to use 3 standard deviations above and below. And you'll see you have a place where you can enter how many standard deviations above and below. Here we'll keep it as 1 below and 1 above. We have some formatting options. So I can choose how to draw the lines, how to fill the distribution band, and also how to label it and what tooltip I want to show. I'm going to show the value, and I'm going to select OK. And there is a very simple visual control chart that shows a metric over time and whether it is inside or outside certain limits. Thank you for joining me today to talk about Tableau control charts. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to learn more about Tableau. If there's a topic you'd like to cover in the future, leave a comment on this video, and also visit Resultant.com to learn more about our analytics and services.